Welcome back, everybody, to Watcher of All Things. My name is Kiki, and this is my podcast where I talk movies, TV shows, and all things entertainment. And today, it is one that we have been anticipating. I wouldn't say waiting for and excited for. An episode we've been anticipating for a while. It is episode 64, where we are talking a Minecraft movie. The movie that everyone has been dunking on since the very first trailer. I saw it last night in a packed IMAX theater where there was someone dressed as Steve, brought a sword, stood up multiple times during the movie and said lines along with Steve. It was insane. One of the crazier theater experiences. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk all about that. Before we get to that, I hope you are all doing well. It is Friday, April 4th, 12:39 p.m. The local weather is 7 degrees here in Ontario. We're getting to spring, folks. But I was thinking, for the news today, instead of breaking down the week's news, I'm going to cover everything that has happened at CinemaCon this week. I have a bunch of news stories from every day, breaking down the 4 days of CinemaCon. If you don't know what CinemaCon is, it's where all the major studios come and they present the movies and they bring little clips or trailers. As well, on my socials, if you want more breakdowns and social media stuff like that, I post every day on my social media. So I have movie reviews, TV show reviews, tons of different videos, physical media stuff. Tomorrow, or by the time this is up, I'll have a little physical media haul for you guys to enjoy. All that is linked below, as well as timestamps in this episode. If you don't want anything spoiled for a Minecraft movie, just listen to the non-spoiler section and then move into what else I watch, because I have lots of stuff to cover there. You have the timestamps below so you can know what section is what. But let's do this. Let's get into the news. All right, day one of CinemaCon was Sony Pictures, and they brought a lot of good stuff. First of all, they started with the 28 Years Later franchise, or 28 Days Later franchise. So they talked about the new movie that's coming out 28 years later, as well as they announced a second one that's actually being directed by Nia DaCosta, I believe. So that's very cool. She's a great filmmaker. And they officially announced that they will be bringing back Cillian Murphy for the trilogy, so that's a big deal. He was in 28 Days Later, I think. 28 Days Later. I've never seen any of the movies that have come out yet, so those will be movies that I no doubt have to watch before the new one. But the main thing for me from Sony, we got the Beatles announcements officially, who is playing them like everyone thought. We have Joseph Quinn, Harris Dickinson, Paul Mescal, and Barry Keoghan. It's fine, whatever. I don't really care. But I think the crazier part of the Beatles news was that all 4 movies are going to be releasing on the same day in April of 2027. That's crazy. And Sam Mendes basically called it a bingeable theater experience. So it's certainly a new idea and something that they are trying, of putting multiple movies out from the same series in a day. But man, it's going to be warfare that day. Are people going to see them all on the same day? Or are they going to wait like, oh, I'll see 2 today, 2 tomorrow? Also, how long are the movies going to be? Are they all going to be 2 hours, or are they going to be like an hour and 10 minutes each? I don't know. Lots of things that we have to theorize about with that series. As for the cast themselves, I'm not really that excited, but we did get finally announced Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse is coming out June 4th, 2027. It's been a while since we've heard any new news. All we've heard from Phil Lord and Chris Miller is that no, it's not canceled, it's not delayed, but like we're working on it and we'll come up with an official date for it to come out. Then we also got to look at the Legend of Zelda logo, which is coming out March 26th, 2027. New look at the Karate Kid. And finally, from Destin Daniel Cretton, the director of Spider-Man 4, we got an update on the story. He shared a nice story about his son learning Spider-Man as his first word from his dad's comic books, and he announced the official title via video with Tom Holland because he's filming the Odyssey right now, so obviously he's busy. Spider-Man Brand New Day, which if you don't know is a title from the comics. I actually bought the book this week. Big omnibus, volume 1. I got it for $75 from $159, I think, on Amazon, so I got it for pretty much half price, which is a great deal. It is a thick book. Like, I have Spider-Man Kraven the Hunter, or Kraven's Last Hunt. I have that omnibus, or that collection of stories, and that is a heavy book, but this one is double the length. And Spider-Man Brand New Day, I think that's a very good title, not just because it comes from the comics, but I think it's good that they are kind of separating and being like, no, this is a brand new chapter for the comics, or for the movies rather, and we're going to be pulling stuff from the comics, hopefully, because I don't know, I think a lot of the Homecoming stuff doesn't really pull from the comics that much. Like, I don't think any of the 3 are inspired by the comics very much. They feel like original stories, but I'm kind of hoping we can see a little bit more like comic book brought to life with the Spider-Man series. I'm very excited for it. And I think Destin Daniel Cretton is a really good choice for a director. Shang-Chi, even if it's not the most mind-blowing MCU movie, the fights are really good and there's constantly a good emotional heart to it, or like there's good emotions and it's actually heartfelt and it doesn't feel just, whatever, corporate action and nothing to really take away with you. Like, it is a family movie that you can enjoy. So I'm excited for that. So that was day one, the Sony presentation where they had Anaconda, the Beatles, all that good stuff. And luckily no live action Spider-Man spin-off movies, no more Kraven, no more Venom. So we might be in the clear. Then we got to day two, which was Lionsgate and Warner Brothers. So Lionsgate started off with an extended fight sequence from Ballerina. Everyone I saw online had positive reactions, said it's really fun. And in the movie, John Wick is a part of the story. He's actually contracted to hunt her down, Ana de Armas. So she's playing Eve Macaro. It looks really good. I don't know. Every time I see the trailer for Ballerina, I'm like, this could actually be great. They also announced that director Francis Lawrence and Lionsgate executive Adam Fogelson are working on the Hunger Games franchise with the new prequel Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping coming November 20th, 2026. Very cool. There was some voiceover from Woody Harrelson as Haymitch, of course, and it's based on the new book that just came out that I've only seen rave reviews of. Apparently it's great. I don't read the Hunger Games books, never been a fan of them. I think we read the first one in like an elementary school class. And then some more announcements from John Wick after that. The studio confirmed a new animated prequel about John Wick's impossible task. I think that could be interesting, and obviously Keanu Reeves is getting up there in age. He has said it's getting harder and harder to do the John Wick movies with his knees, but at the same time, they announced John Wick 5 is officially happening, so I don't know, that's kind of a bummer that they're going to continue the story. They also announced another spin-off that is Donnie Yen directing a spin-off featuring his character Kane from John Wick Chapter 4, so I don't know, lots of interesting stuff that the John Wick universe just keeps branching out. I think those movies are great, and it is a very like rich universe with just random stuff like gold coins and all this currency stuff, so I think you do have potential for a big universe there. Then the Now You See Me franchise, they announced the third movie is officially titled Now You See Me, Now You Don't, which is what everyone wanted the second one to be called, but they didn't do that, so they changed the third title to be that. But they also announced a fourth movie, so they're immediately greenlighting another one, which means I think they definitely have confidence in the third one that they have more story to tell. Now let's get to Warner Brothers Pictures, who brought new footage of F1, the Kaczynski movie, right? Joseph Kaczynski, who did Top Gun Maverick. Everyone who saw, I think it was a 10-minute clip of F1, went crazy, said, oh yeah, that movie is going to be great. I think Jerry Bruckheimer and Kaczynski came on stage and said they want this to be like the Top Gun Maverick of this year. So I'm excited for that because Top Gun Maverick was like one of my favorite movies of that year. Then, of course, we got the Superman preview, which did not play in front of Minecraft for me last night, despite me seeing it in IMAX. So I watched it at home on YouTube before I left. Then I watched it a bunch of times when I came home. I have to say, I'm even more sold on the movie now than I was before I saw the preview. It looks amazing, really great cinematography. The designs all look perfect. I really like how much they are just embracing the comic book. They're not trying to make it, oh, we need to do it as grounded as possible. And I don't think you need that for Superman. Just embrace the weird sci-fi, odd Kryptonian stuff about it. Krypto, the superdog, looks awesome. It looks funny and lighthearted, which you need in Superman. Look, Henry Cavill seems like an interesting person, but his Superman movies were depressing. They're sad. That's not who Superman is. I can understand, let's go a new route with Superman and try to do something new, but I got tired of that very quick. So I'm excited for this, just to get back into a cheery Superman. Then Ryan Coogler also showed up with new footage from his movie Sinners, which we're actually going to be reviewing in 2 weeks on April 18th. I've only heard amazing stuff from that as well. They had the premiere last night, and everyone that I know that went to the premiere as like social media influencers all said like, oh yeah, Coogler has done something special here, and every reviewer I know that went said, yeah, it's the real deal. Same with Paul Thomas Anderson showed up to show a clip for One Battle After Another with Leonardo DiCaprio, Regina Hall, and Tiana Taylor. Amazing. The trailer came out last week, and it just had me so excited. We also had Maggie Gyllenhaal coming out to talk about The Bride. I think it stars Christian Bale, Jessie Buckley, and one other person that I can't remember who, but the designs look really fun. Apparently it's like a Bonnie and Clyde type thing. Take on Frankenstein comes out March 6th, 2026. I'm looking forward to that. And then we move to day 3, and I'm going to do like my favorite thing of the 4 days of CinemaCon that we got to see at least online, or what I'm most excited for. So day 3 was Universal Pictures and Focus Features, and some of their bigger titles were Jurassic World, Rebirth, How to Train Your Dragon, which I think they showed the entire movie and they were doing screenings at CinemaCon, and I only saw positive reactions, which is very surprising. Some people people said, oh, it's just a shot-for-shot remake. Some people didn't. I don't know. Then we have Him, which stars Marlon Wayans, and it's produced by Jordan Peele. Everyone said it's something that they've never seen Marlon Wayans do. Nobody 2, which comes out actually this year in August. Then for Focus Features, they brought out Begonia, which is Yorgos Lanthimos' next film. Apparently it looks crazy, and Emma Stone is bald in it. Downton Abbey, the grand finale. Then for Blumhouse Pictures, they brought Five Nights at Freddy's, Black Phone 2, Megan 2.0, Soulmate, and then Wicked for Good was brought by Universal. They actually had a trailer that I think we'll see very soon. I would say next week they're probably going to release it. A lot of people said that Dorothy's in it, so I'm sure Dorothy and the, Fantastic Four of their crew are going to be fully involved in the story, of course. So I don't know. I'm excited for Wicked for Good. I wish they just called it Wicked Part 2, but I am excited for that. Like the first one, it's a very flawed movie and it looks like shit, but it's a fun movie. Like it's, good music for the most part and 2 really good performances. Then we get to the final day, which was Paramount, Disney, Angel Studios, and Neon. So day 4 began with Paramount Pictures, according to Deadline, showcasing Edgar Wright's highly anticipated The Running Man, starring Glenn Powell, Coleman Domingo, and Josh Brolin, coming out this November. I'm very excited for that. I've never seen the original Running Man, so I think I might actually watch that in the next few days. Then we have the SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants, as well as The Naked Gun, a series that I absolutely love. The Naked Gun movies with Leslie Nielsen are just some of my favorite comedies, and they showed the new trailer starring Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson. We got a shorter version of that trailer widely released online, and I am shocked to say it looks fantastic. And the humor, the most important aspect is the humor is so close to what they do in the originals. Like, I was blown away how tonally they really nail it. And Liam Neeson, Leslie Nielsen, those sound similar, and he's actually playing Frank's son. I think it looks really funny, and I am so excited. It comes out August 1st, and I actually leave for vacation the next day, so I was kind of like, shit. As well as Paramount obviously talked about Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, and Tom Cruise had a moment of silence for Val Kilmer, who passed away this week at the age of 65. That was really, really sad for me. I think he passed away Tuesday night, very late in the evening. He was 65 years old. He had throat cancer back in 2015, and I think he's been sick ever since then. He died of pneumonia. Oh man, he was such a good actor. Just so many good performances. He's obviously one of my childhood Batmans. Like, I was born in 2000, so I was very much watching all the Batman movies from the 90s, and Batman Forever was probably my favorite one of Batman, Batman Returns, Batman and Robin, and Batman Forever. Like, I loved Batman Forever until the Nolan movies came out. Then those became my favorites. I think even now, Val Kilmer is a fantastic Batman, and he really moved the role into another place of this tortured Bruce Wayne versus, I don't know, Michael Keaton he's a good Batman, but Val Kilmer just brought something darker and deeper from the comics with Joel Schumacher, and I don't know, Batman Forever, look, it's not a great movie, but I think it is a very close take, and it was trying to move into something different. So I don't know, I was very sad about the passing of Val Kilmer. Obviously, Heat, The Saint, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Tombstone, like, he's a phenomenal actor. Top Gun Maverick, just looking back on that scene with Iceman now, oh man, it crushes me. But then we got all of the Disney stuff as well later in the day after the Paramount things. So Disney closed the day with a series of exciting announcements and sneak peeks. Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis appeared to promote Freakier Friday, could not care less, while new footage was presented for Tron Ares, which we are actually getting a trailer for tomorrow. Elle Fanning teased Predator Badlands. I'm very excited for that. Prey, the most recent Predator movie, was so good. Like, I seriously loved it. Then Jeremy Allen White and Bruce Springsteen took to the stage to discuss Deliver Me From Nowhere, but I think in a very funny way, the Marvel's Thunderbolts team took the stage with Wyatt Russell acting like he was hammered and he had just lost 30 grand at the casino. I tweeted this last night, but every piece of new marketing that they put out for Thunderbolts, I'm more and more excited for this movie, and I think it's gonna be good. Like, I'm cautiously optimistic. I actually think it could be very great. Like, it just looks super practical. It looks like they're actually putting care into how it looks. So I don't know, Thunderbolts could be really great. And then they showed Fantastic Four: The First Steps, where I think they showed Silver Surfer, and they had some new clips and stuff like that, and it takes place in another universe before Avengers Doomsday, of course. They also showed Pixar's Elio and the new trailer for Zootopia 2. Then finally, Zoe Saldana concluded the presentation with a first look at Avatar: Fire and Ash, accompanied by an on-screen message from James Cameron. Everyone went crazy for the Avatar one. Look, I think the Avatar stories are extremely generic, and the movies are, I don't know, they're not fantastically written, and I think the dialogue is very stiff and sounds like an old man trying to sound like teenagers and how you do, fellow kids. But technically speaking, amazing to watch. Both of them look insane and are revolutionary to watch. I'm pretty sure everyone got 3D glasses. I'm pretty sure, which worries me, that they're going to be like, oh, everyone go see this in 3D, because I can't do another 5 years of everyone trying to market movies in 3D. I hate 3D movies. But that was CinemaCon. So lots of huge presentations. A lot of stuff wasn't put out to the public. It was really just kept to the floor for CinemaCon. The things I'm most excited for: Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, of course, I think is going to be fantastic. I think Edgar Wright's The Running Man with Glenn Powell could be really good. I love Edgar Wright's movies. I think he's a fantastic filmmaker. But no doubt, the thing that I'm most excited for, specifically after getting the 5-minute preview on YouTube, Superman. Superman just looks fantastic tonally, production-wise, and I think it's really trying to prove that, you know, your comic book movies can look good and they don't need to look like garbage and just CGI slop everywhere. So I'm very excited for that. I think it was a pretty good CinemaCon, and I think the AMC CEO or chief of operations, whatever he was, he came on stage and said that 3 of the 6 major studios have agreed to a 45-day theatrical release. I think that's a good start. And if we can get to 6 out of 6, everyone across the board agreeing 45 days needs to be the minimum, that is just going to be really helpful to keeping cinemas afloat, aren't being undercut by the, oh, it's on video on demand. Like Mickey 17 is going to be on video on demand on April 18th, I believe, or maybe it's already on video on demand. I don't even know, but it just seemed like, oh, they already announced when it's going to be on video on demand. Nobody's going to see it. And there was one tweet this week that was like, what's the point of even going to the movies anymore when Netflix puts it on streaming a month after it's released? And it had like 200,000 likes, and everyone was just quote tweeting it in my circles, you know, in my little echo chamber, being like, oh my God, we are so screwed. So I don't know. I think that's a good start, that it's 3 out of 6 studios announcing that they have agreed. That's a good start. We don't know who it is, but still, I'm optimistic. I think there was lots of cool stuff that we got to see even if we didn't attend. I think we still have a lot of really good movies to come. I know it hasn't been a great start to the year theater-wise, but look, we have Thunderbolts next month. Minecraft is going to make a boatload of money, so it's not all doom and gloom. But speaking of Minecraft, I think we should get into our review for a Minecraft movie. Timestamps below. Spoilers beware in the spoilers section if you want to skip ahead to what else I watched, but let's do this. A Minecraft Movie is a 2025 adventure comedy coming in at an hour and 41 minutes. It is directed by Jared Hess, who did Napoleon Dynamite, one of my favorite comedies, as well as Nacho Libre. You can see some of the same jokes, unfortunately. Written by a hold committee of people: Chris Scaletta, Gavin James, Neil Widener, Hubble Palmer, and Chris Bowman. Had a budget of $150 million, and I'm going to tell you right now, it is going to quadruple that budget, no doubt. My theater was packed last night. It has already projected to make like $100 million opening weekend. I have no doubt this movie's probably gonna break $1 billion, to be honest. It's Super Mario Brothers all over again. Reviews: currently has 6.1 on IMDb, although IMDb doesn't really mean anything. 49% on Rotten Tomatoes with no audience score yet. 2.9 on Letterboxd average, with the mode rating being 5 stars, but it's people just memeing and trolling. The synopsis for the film: a mysterious portal pulls 4 misfits into the overworld, a bizarre cubic wonderland that thrives on imagination. To get back home, they'll have to master the terrain while embarking on a magical quest with an unexpected crafter named Steve. The film stars Jason Momoa as Garrett, Jack Black as Steve, Sebastian Eugene Hansen as Henry, Emma Myers as Natalie, Danielle Brooks as Dawn, Jennifer Coolidge as Vice Principal Marlene, Rachel House as Malgosia, Alan Henry as Malgosia's creature performer, Bram Scott Brany as young Steve. All right, well, initial thoughts on a Minecraft movie. I think you guys won't be very surprised. Judging by the trailers, you know, they say don't judge a book by its cover, but sometimes you can judge a movie by its trailers, because, look, there were moments I almost enjoyed in this movie, but a Minecraft movie is just mind-numbingly, ridiculously bad. It can literally only be defined as cringe. I can't believe I'm just going to use that word, because I think that's such a memed word, but the movie is just genuinely absolutely cringe. It's bad. It doesn't respect your children. It doesn't expect their intelligence. They're like, oh, let's make a family movie, but we don't have to put any effort in because, oh, we can just say, well, it's for kids. It doesn't need to be good. So what, your kids don't deserve good movies either? They just deserve 2 hours of pointing at stuff and being like, hey, you know this thing, it does this, this, and this, and then Jack Black's gonna talk directly at you for 10 minutes? Sorry, I really broke off into a tangent there, but speaking of Jack Black, let's start with the performances. Jason Momoa as Garrett. He has some funny Napoleon Dynamite-esque humor. In the real world, he was one of the 2 characters in this movie that I didn't find extremely annoying. As for Jack Black as Steve, absolutely terrible. Oh my dear God, it feels like he's improvising every single line. He's given no direction and just singing the whole time in this movie. We're going to talk about singing and songs and needle drops, but he is singing the whole time and doing his Jack Blackness that he does in real life. He's not even playing a character. He's just being Jack Black, and I'm so tired of it. He's doing the bad Santa thing, or whatever, evil Santa, bad Satan, whatever that piece of shit Christmas movie that he was just in. But then, I can't believe I'm going to do this, but I'm going to dunk on a couple of young people. Sebastian Eugene Hansen as Henry, absolutely terrible. This kid is not a good actor. He rushes through lines, says stuff in the most TikTok cringe voice. It's crazy to watch. Like, it's like I'm watching a 2-hour meme movie, or an hour and 41 meme movie, where it's just meme moments from social media where he's like, actually, I think we are in the Ender Pearl world, and it's, oh my God, it's so aggravating. And same with Emma Myers as Natalie. Every second line is like, he's right behind me, isn't he? Like, who wrote this? Nobody talks like this. No one talks like this. Every video of people talking like this is a meme, making fun of them, but they just brought, like, the memification to life. It's just Gen Z cringe humor of like, oh my God, this guy is such a tool bag. Ugh, okay, I need to calm down. We're actually going to have some constructive criticism, and I have a new system for my critique that I want to use at the end. Danielle Brooks, she is nothing in this movie. They don't use her. She's 50% like actually some funny lines, and then 50% awful Gen Z cringe where they're just making her react to everything Jack Black is doing and saying everything that Jack Black is doing. This is second screen entertainment in a movie theater. It's brain rot core. They explain everything to you, and Danielle Brooks, it's like she's narrating on top of Jack Black's narration. It's so crazy. The only funny people in this movie, Jennifer Coolidge as Vice Principal Marlene. She is very funny, and she has a great storyline with the villager. And then we have Hiram Garcia as Mr. Gunchi. He's in like the first 10 minutes of the movie, first 20-ish. He's really funny. I liked both of them. They were hilarious. Otherwise, I wanted to rip my eyes and ears off because this is a truly annoying cast. But let's get into the story, you know? The story is straightforward to the point where there's probably no stakes. None of it ever feels like it matters. It never felt like there's actually any danger, any real obstacles, any consequences. They're kind of just walking you through the game of Minecraft. Like, this is like being at a family gathering where one of your little cousins or a nephew or niece has Minecraft on their PC or whatever, their PlayStation, and they just walk you through one of their creative modes. And it's like the same amount of nerves that you would have watching an 8-year-old play the game versus watching this movie. At no point was my heart rate like elevated above 12. I was pretty much dead on the scene. And because it's just a fully CGI world, like everything, there's nothing practical, nothing feels real around them. The movie just feels so weightless emotionally and physically. And the story is just so bland and no consequences, no real messaging in the end. And the directing from Jared Hess, look, he's a funny guy. I think Napoleon Dynamite is a hilarious movie. Nacho Libre, a hilarious movie. But the first 30 minutes in this movie are pretty funny. I'll give him credit. At least the first 30 minutes where we're in the real world, I was like, oh, maybe this isn't going to be terrible. And then as soon as we got into the Minecraft world, I was like, oh, this is absolutely abysmal. Directing wise, he has no vision for this movie. He has no heart for the subject matter. It's like he threw these kids under the bus as well. I think he should be taking a lot of the heat. And yes, I was harsh on the kids and the performances, but at the same time, he doesn't instruct them what their eye line should be. Half the time they're looking at random things when, you know, there's a pig going by and they're looking 10 feet away from where the actual object is. That's just lousy directing and not knowing how to handle this big green screen world. And it's really frustrating at times because it's like you're directing these young actors, at least help them. Like, I think Jason Momoa, Jack Black, and Danielle Brooks, they mostly have the right eye lines, but there is one moment where there's this horde of things running by Danielle Brooks and she's acting like they're all hitting her legs and she's like stumbling side to side and they're nowhere near her. I was mind blown by the directing in this movie that, or I don't know whether it's him just not being able to implement things on set to actually close down the space and have that physicality for the actors to interact with, but it's very frustrating to watch at times because you can just tell the studio, the director, no one on set is helping the performers to be like, well, no, actually you should look here because that's where they're going to be in post. This was the most just, okay, flail your arms and run around and we'll add it in post, and they didn't even try in the editing process or the visual effects process to actually put them in the correct place. And also, as a director, you need to know when to limit your performers. And with Jack Black, who he's worked before in Nacho Libre, very funny movie, it's like he just let Jack Black do whatever he wants. There is no serious or just toned down, straightforward line reading from Jack Black. Everything has to sound like a Tenacious D song or some weird pronunciation of an ender pearl or flint and steel. It is genuinely so annoying. He has to do something with every single line read, and 20 minutes in, you're so annoyed. And yeah, there's no heart to this movie. Like I said, emotionally, I felt nothing the whole time. There's this whole storyline of the brother and sister. They lost their mom, and that's why they've moved to a new town, and that gets probably 2 minutes of attention, and then we're just supposed to feel bad for them the whole time. I don't give a flying fuck about these two people. And you can be like, oh, Kiki, oh, it's a kid's movie, you know? It doesn't need to be an Oscar winner. No, it doesn't need to be an Oscar winner, but you could pay, more than 3 minutes of attention to your script and be like, how can I actually add some more emotional reactions to this? Or how can I make it more endearing and make you really care about this cast? Because the whole time I was like, I hate all of these people. They are annoying me other than Jennifer Coolidge and the Villager. The Villager had more of a character arc than anyone else in this movie. It's mind-blowing. It feels like the writers just don't respect our intelligence. They're like, oh, it's a kid's movie, so we can just talk down to everyone, and it's condescending, and the message is also just super hypocritical. And I know, like, oh yeah, it's a kid's movie, but kids deserve good art as well. Look at the Lego movie. That's a kid's movie that actually has so much to say, and same with like the Spider-Verse movies. Those are pretty much kids movies. They're animated Spider-Man movies that you would show to a child, but they have great messages for everyone to enjoy. And the writing just completely undercuts the necessity of Henry and Natalie. You don't need them in the story. This movie honestly would have been a lot better if we just had Jack Black and Jason Momoa. Danielle Brooks, Natalie, the brother and sister, Natalie and Henry, just aren't necessary to the story. And there's a large section of this where Emma Myers and Danielle Brooks are on the back burner. They're not even involved in the story. There's probably a 30-minute gap of this movie where I forgot they are also in the Minecraft world. And it's just, all of the advertising is like the 5 characters all together, but in the actual movie, they don't share that much screen time. And it's like, why include them if they're just an afterthought and this movie is really about Jack Black and Jason Momoa? It's the two of them half the time. Even Henry, I was like, this kid's not involved in the story at all. And the exposition is just so bad. This is a kid's movie, but it's Jack Black just explaining things for an hour and 41 minutes. I'm not kidding. In every scene, he is explaining some element of Minecraft or something they need to do. The whole time they are holding your hand, and kids can't handle that much information. Let them watch and place some things together. They don't need you to explain everything. Kids are smart, young people are smart, adults are smart, families are smart. People can watch movies and gather what's happening. If someone is making a sword on a crafting table, I don't need them to explain, I'm going to make an iron sword in a crafting table, and it's going to be epic sauce. Show me, don't tell me. That's probably the most frustrating aspect for me, is the constant narration, specifically from Jack Black. The whole movie, he's explaining everything, but the rest of the characters, you have Danielle Brooks, who is explaining everything that Jack Black is doing in person when he's not narrating. So it's like multiple layers of narration and explaining on top of each other. It just really, really bogs you down, and it's just tough to get through. Can kids be entertained by this movie? I honestly don't know if kids will have fun with this movie. It's not like a story that they're going to go away with. All they are going to get out of this is, oh, I saw the Minecraft things in live action. And I guess that's what they wanted, but it's not going to be a movie that they're like, oh, I need to watch that over and over again, because it's just Jack Black for an hour and 41 minutes yelling words from Minecraft and being like, chicken jockey. And I want to shout out Kit Laser. Go follow him on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. All of his stuff is really great, but he said he had a great point that this is not a movie made for kids. It is made for 22-year-old stoners who are going to take edibles and go watch it. And so the defense that, oh, this is a kid's movie, they get to enjoy it, it's not. It's really not made for them. He also, I'll read you his Letterboxd review because it was hilarious. He gave it 1.5 stars, said, dude, it's a kid's movie. They're going to love it, in quotes. And then he answered, well, yeah, my dog loves eating shit, but I'd be an asshole if I fed it to him. Exactly that. Like, just because they're kids doesn't mean you need to just give them mind-numbing entertainment. You can give them, I don't know, educational things that are actually going to be fun for them to watch and are entertaining, but also have an important lesson. This movie, its lesson is, yeah, be creative, give into the corporate world and be creative and don't play Minecraft. There's a couple other writing elements. They use TikTok words and like brain rot lingo. Like one of the characters says, sorry, I have to unalive you, which if you don't know, for any of the older listeners that maybe aren't on TikTok as much, unalive is a word that people use on social media so they don't get censored for saying killed or dead, because you can say alive on social media, but you can't say dead or killed, and they don't want the algorithm to bring them down. They use it in this movie, and I'm not even kidding, my theater had an actual visceral reaction when this guy was like, yeah, sorry, I have to unalive you, bud. One of the funniest things I've ever seen in a theater. I've never seen people react so badly to a word. This was up there for theater experiences of a bad movie. I have to say this was up there with Megalopolis last year. Megalopolis was the whole time just laughter and people being mind blown at how bad a movie was, and this was the exact same. This group of like all these 20-year-olds, like I said in the intro, one of them was dressed as Steve. He stood up when he said I am Steve during the movie and recited it with him, and it was just funny as hell. Usually, I'm a theater Nazi where I like to tell people to be quiet, put their phones away or whatever if they're sitting near me, but like this time I was like, oh, whatever, it's a Minecraft movie. There were 2 kids that were running up and down the stairs in the theater the whole time, the entire runtime. They literally put run in runtime because it was 1 hour 41 minutes of these 2 kids just sprinting up and down and the mom just doing nothing. I was like, well, I guess they don't find the movie fun. But anyways, brain rot words like unalive. Why? Movies can say kill. Movies can say dead. It's not going to get you censored and be like a PG-13 movie because you're saying it. And speaking of TikTok, they used that stupid fucking song that they used in Companion, and it annoyed me. That was one of the things that annoyed me about Companion, was they used that Lil Boo Thang song that was popular on social media last year and in the music charts or whatever. They use it in a fight scene, and I actually almost pulled my hair out. Like I might go bald from this movie because it was one of the strangest needle drops I have seen in a movie in a long time, of this like, oh, really cool first fight sequence that this one character is going to have in the Minecraft world, and then it's like a record scratch almost to drop this song, and I was like, what is going on? Do they just want people to point at the screen? I know that song. I know that thing from Minecraft. I know that sword. I know that armor. It's crazy. They just want people to look at this movie and be like, oh, I know that thing. The Marvelification of everything else after No Way Home and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness has done irreparable damage to other movies, I think, in the last few years. But also, video game movies are kind of a different breed because we've had a lot more bad video game movies than good video game movies, Like Mr. Sunday Movies is doing a really good series on Caravan of Garbage right now on their YouTube channel. Go check it out, where they're going through video game movies every week, and they just did Street Fighter this week, and like, it's not terrible, but they also did Double Dragon last week, and it's very funny to see bad video game movies, and Minecraft is certainly joining that collection. A few other things. Speaking of songs, Jack Black sings probably 3 or 4 times in this movie, and you can just tell they're trying so hard to have a Peaches moment from Super Mario Brothers movie. I think the deal was with this movie, and it's so funny, this movie's coming out at the same time as the studio airing, where there's a whole episode about trying to make a Kool-Aid movie. This movie is just like, okay, we just want to make money. We don't care about this IP. Just throw some slop on screen so we can make $1 billion. And you know what? They probably will. They were like, fuck artistic integrity. Let's just make some money. But Jack Black sings 3 or 4 times in this movie. There was just silence in my theater, jaws dropping of what is actually happening right now. It feels so desperate and soulless. Is it completely unfunny, the movie? No. Like I said, the Jennifer Coolidge stuff is very funny. Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords, who I love very much, also starred in Avatar 2. I think he has a funny moment at a storage locker sale. All the real world stuff is ironically the best part of the movie. Once we get into the Minecraft world, it's just boring. And the Minecraft world as well, I was very surprised that it's not like Jumanji, where the Jumanji world is in a game. In this movie, the Minecraft world is just another realm. Like, there is no Minecraft game, there is no Minecraft idea or whatever. I thought it was going to be like, oh, I'm playing Minecraft and we all got sucked into our games because of a virus or something. No, it's just a portal in a mine shaft, like in the trailer that Steve goes in and sees, and they all get trapped from the cube. So I don't know, I thought that was strange that you wouldn't be like, oh, it's just a game and they're all like really good Minecraft players. But as for the Minecraft world as well, I feel like we haven't even touched on that. The building King of Things looks awful. And I think that goes into the directing and CGI use as well, because people just like throw their hands down and point at things and it pops the blocks out. And I thought it looked like shit. It looked like nothing, just kids on a green screen acting, throwing, and they're not even pointing at the correct spots. Like I said, again, the directing, they did not do these kids any favors. I think Jack Black and Garrett, Jason Momoa do fine, and Danielle Brooks when they get to build stuff, but the kids, nobody looked at the dailies and said, hey kids, okay, we're gonna give you a tip. Like, there were moments where the CGI, I was like, okay, that's acceptable, like they're going for hyper realistic or whatever, but this would almost just work better as an animated movie, I think, with people being sucked into a cartoon Minecraft world, because it's just sometimes so scary and uncanny valley to look at. But also the whole third act, the CGI is awful and the green screen aspects are awful. Like, oh my god, there's a couple moments where you can just see that haze in the background, that green outline. And you know, speaking of the ending, the whole third act is kind of just nonsense, and the lesson that they try to give us at the end is absolute BS. I'm going to talk about it in spoilers, but look, I want to do a new thing called 2 stars and a wish. When I was in high school, when people would give presentations, they would give you 2 stars, which were 2 things that you liked, and then a wish, something that is constructive criticism. So every week I'm going to try and do 2 stars and a wish if I can remember. For a Minecraft movie, star number 1, Jennifer Coolidge is really funny. Star number 2, it's a movie the whole family can see, not necessarily enjoy, but you can certainly watch this as a family. My wish, I wish they put any effort into making this movie emotionally interesting and not treating children like they are stupid. Those are my 2 stars and a wish. I'm going to try and do that every week for whatever we're reviewing. It's a movie about passion and creativity in a world that doesn't value it, and yet this movie has zero passion or creativity for the subject matter it's talking about. For a long time in this film, I wasn't able to pin down what year any of this is taking place until someone pulled out an iPhone, because all the cars are super old, the houses kind of look a little bit old-fashioned. But I think that's all I got for non-spoilers. Overall, a Minecraft movie, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Honestly, there's definitely been worse movies, like Borderlands I thought was terrible. Even this year, The Electric State I think is a worse movie than this. But a Minecraft movie is really bad. It feels like studios are starting to not respect kids. This is unfunny, it's derivative, and it's extremely inauthentic. A Minecraft movie gets 1.5 out of 5 stars for me. But let's move into spoilers. All right, spoilers for a Minecraft movie. I've taken a couple minutes break to cool down. I feel like that was a very rambling and ranting review. I apologize. Like, look, it's a bad movie and I think it should be called out. I think we're just getting too accustomed to slop, and I think Seth Rogen has made a very good point while promoting the studio that there has always been panic in Hollywood that, oh my god, arts are failing. And there's been times where commercially movies didn't do as well and artistic integrity was winning. And there's other times where commercial-wise Hollywood was doing great, but artistically it wasn't at its best. And there's also been times where both have been succeeding. Like the 70s, movies were great and they were making tons of money. So look, it ebbs and flows. I think we just need to stop accepting slop in Hollywood. And I'm a huge superhero fan, but I also have to acknowledge that superhero movies have had a very damning effect on Hollywood. But anyways, let's get to a Minecraft movie. I want to start with the start of the movie where we're in the real world. We're introduced to Henry and Natalie, or whatever these kids' names are. They meet Dawn, who is their real estate agent, and she just all of a sudden turns on Natalie and says, hey, I'm really sorry your mom died, out of nowhere. Like, I was kind of shocked, and it just felt so like, oh, studio note, we need insert emotional beat here, and boom, there you go. And it's just like so tonally all over the place when this movie's trying to get sincere. You get whiplash, and it's kind of wild. But anyways, that was a little moment in an emotionally unavailable movie. If you're expecting to feel anything during this movie, just watch the Jennifer Coolidge and Villager scenes when you're watching this on streaming at home, then skip through the rest. They dropped the title in this movie, which you've probably seen memed online. Jack Black says in the third act, when they're about to go into battle, he's like, first we mine, then we craft. Let's Minecraft. And it's one of the most painful line reads I've ever heard, and it's one of the most shoehorned way to get the title into the story. Like, it's up there with, what are we, some kind of Suicide Squad? Beyond terrible. Like, it's like this movie was written written by ChatGPT, taking every meme from TikTok and every Gen Z Urban Dictionary entry and being like, write me a Minecraft movie with as much Gen Z humor that's written by an old man. And emotionally, like I said, this movie just offers nothing. Like, you think someone's about to die, they don't. Nothing ever happens in this movie. Nobody ever even gets hurt. Like, no one's ever scathed. There's no health in this world. There's no actual consequences or people getting hit. Nothing happens. They fall asleep at one point and that's it. But Garrett gets blown up on a bridge, and immediately I was like, well, we're just going to see him swoop in and save Henry in the final battle because they're having an argument. And what do you know? 25 minutes later in the movie, not even, probably 15, Henry's falling off the big Sauron eye looking thing, which we'll address in a moment. And he looks like he's about to die and hit the ground, and Garrett swoops in and saves him. What do you know? Garrett to the rescue. The movie, every second, you know exactly what's going to happen. Like, she's going to be like, he's right behind me, isn't he? And then Natalie's like, it's right behind me, isn't he? Oh, what do you know? Call it. Or, oh, they're going to have an argument now. And, oh, Garrett's going to want to get the diamonds, and he does. Like, there's so much about this that is so low effort, and you cannot argue, oh, it's a kid's movie. Like, why are you being so harsh on it? Kids deserve good art too. Like Kit Laser said, my dog likes eating shit, but I'm not going to feed it to them because that would make me an asshole. And the end of the movie, they all decide they're going to go back to the real world, and Steve is going to come with them. So the solution to the Minecraft movie, a movie that is literally an advertisement for Minecraft, the solution is stop playing Minecraft and leave the world. They all go back to reality and they just ditch it. And I was kind of like, that's it? Steve is like, Henry, why don't you stay with me and you can be creative here in a world free of judgment? And Henry's like, actually, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna be creative anyways. And it's the most emotional roller coaster scene of people just jumping to different conclusions. And there's no point in this movie where someone says something and there's actual pushback. It's like someone will have a rebuttal, be like, oh, I think we should go this way. Well, I think we should go this way. Well, I think we should go this way. Oh, okay. And then they just go. And it's just so no real issues, no real tension, no real problems. Like, Henry and Garrett are yelling at each other the whole time because Garrett just wants to steal diamonds and go back to the real world. And Henry's like, you wanted to steal treasures. And he starts whining and like, Henry, why don't you grab some diamonds too? And then you and your sister can pay for your house and stuff like that. Now let's address the homoerotic relationship in the room. Jack Black and Jason Momoa are giving off some serious romance in this movie. They have the thickest bromance I've seen. They literally 69 fly through the air. That was a funny scene. I was not expecting that, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is one for the adults for sure. But everybody online, like every Reddit comment, most Letterboxd reviews actually are like, oh man, they really were diving into Jack Black and Jason Momoa giving off some vibes that they wanted to kiss. And yeah, very romantic. And maybe that was the only heart in this movie other than Jennifer Coolidge and the villager. Like, there was some actual romance between our two male leads. But anyway, stepping away from the romance, going back to the lack of tension, the lack of consequences, the final battle of this movie is probably 5 minutes long, I would say, and it's just the Lord of the Rings. This movie is actually not even the whole final battle. This whole movie is the Lord of the Rings. They have this cube that they need to take to this place and they need to destroy it, or actually they need to fix it. And it's this journey where they all break up and they're all trying to meet up at this place and they can't just fly there. And it's so strange how they literally, and they even reference Frodo at one point. They're like, oh, Henry, you're kind of like Frodo. And then the end of the movie, there's this huge tower with the purple laser beam, right? And it's literally Saruman or Sauron, whatever the eye thing is in the sky with the ring or the eye, and the cube goes in there. The final battle's maybe 5 minutes. It's just dragging you through the motions. Nothing really going on. No one gets hurt. Henry gets saved by Garrett, of course, because we can't have anyone actually get hurt in a kid's movie. And anytime someone gets bitten or hit with something, they cut away to someone's reaction. Usually it's Dawn going, oh my God, Steve just blah, 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 and explaining to us what just happened that we just saw. And as for Garrett's scheme to bring Minecraft diamonds to real life, would they be worth something? If you take a piece of grass from this movie and bring it into real life, is it still going to look like grass? Because Dennis the dog goes into the real world, doesn't look any different, and there's just a Minecraft dog roaming around for half of this movie in the real world, and no one says anything of like, wow, that dog looks weird. And same with the villager. No one's like, oh, what's up with that guy? Like, Jennifer Coolidge just says, oh my God, you have such a big head. And, you know, no one's like, oh, what's up with this dude? But I don't know, maybe that's a good lesson, and don't judge people on their appearance. But how can Garrett bring these diamonds into real life and sell them? I don't know. That's his plan, is to steal diamonds and take it to the real world, which I think he did. In the end of the movie, I would assume he probably still had the diamonds because he opens his shop and they have money, so maybe they did go back and get treasure and bring it to the real world. And the end of the movie was so weird because it feels like it was written by a 10-year-old where and then they all go back to the real world and they open his video game store and they make a video game made on Street Fighter and Minecraft, and then they have a rock concert and Henry gets a rocket ship and she's the social media manager that opens a self-defense store. It's like, what is this ending of just complete unrealistic things and nobody goes back to a normal life? How are they getting all of this money to do these things? I just didn't understand. Like, did they take the diamonds back? Did they not take the diamonds back? They should have made that a point of the story of like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going back to the real world, but we're taking diamonds from Minecraft and we're selling them and we're going to live our lives to the most we can. You know, you can't just open a store because you're creative. They needed money to open these things or make the store better or whatever it is. Henry needed money to make a jetpack. She needed money to open a dojo for self-defense. And I don't understand the ending at all. It's super hypocritical because they're like, stop playing Minecraft and being creative. Give in to the corporate capitalistic world. And it's stupid. As for the post-credit scenes, again, there's one fantastic post-credit scene with Jennifer Coolidge, the villager, and the teacher who is actually her ex-husband. But the villager can now talk, and he's voiced by Matt Berry. It was hilarious. I'll give the movie credit for that. The villager and Jennifer Coolidge stuff was the best part. Then the other post-credit scene is setting up a sequel so clearly. They're setting up a sequel with Alex, who is like Steve, another Minecraft character. So yeah, there is clearly going to be a sequel. Maybe this is my most incoherent review because this movie just pissed me off, and it felt like a fever dream watching this. Like Death of a Unicorn last week. Bad movie, but at least you can recognize story elements they're attempting. Even if they're not executed in a great way, it's someone directing their first feature film, so you know, you gotta give some leeway. This guy's been around forever. He's directing a huge studio commercial that's just on CGI slop, so I get it. A Minecraft movie was horrendous. It's not my least favorite movie of the year, but it's bad, and I wish they made a good Minecraft movie because I think it is a world where you could have made a fun like Lego movie type thing. That's all I got right now, so let's move into what else I watched. All right, what else I watched? 4 movies, 5 TV shows, and 2 books. Let's start with the books. Secret Invasion, the first book I read. I think it was mostly pretty okay. I think there's way too many characters, and it never really has true stakes to it. Like, people get hurt in it, but it never feels like, oh my god, I can't believe we lost that hero. They were a huge part of our team to, like I said in my review last weekend, like really push our heroes on. Still, I think the artwork's really good, and there's a lot of fun inclusions of who's in it, with like Nick Fury and his team and stuff. Then I started reading Batman and the Monster Men Volume 1. That'll be the review that's now up on my social media for my weekly comic books. It's pretty good so far. I've read like the first 2 issues and I really like the artwork. Seems like it's a little bit more of like a kiddie one type thing, but I'm not that deep into it, so maybe it gets like super violent or something like that. But still, let's move into TV shows because I finished Adolescence last weekend, the limited series on Netflix about this child that is, you know, potentially murdered a girl, and it's about incel culture. And dear God, it was fantastic. It has great performances. I think the subject matter that it's talking about is really important. Like, we seriously need to be addressing these conservative, right-wing, incel culture things online, like Andrew Tate's and stuff like that. Joe Rogan as well is a conspiracy theorist. He's insane. But this series, I think it's a great start, and I like that the UK is sort of making it mandatory in schools. I think it's really good educational viewing if you want to understand this culture. I actually rated it on Letterboxd as well, 4.5 stars. Shout out Tasha for recommending it, one of my followers on TikTok. Then I watched The Pitt, a show that I made a video about it on my social media this week. I'm obsessed with it. It is one of the best television shows I've ever watched, hands down. I'm not even kidding. I hate medical dramas, but this is addicting. Every character is so complex and layered. They are complicated. They make mistakes. They're human. They're flawed. Everybody has baggage. I absolutely love it. There's 14 episodes out right now, including last night's episode, which was electric as well. It touches on so many amazing social issues and real things that are affecting our medical systems and the medical industry and hospitals and ER employees and nurses and doctors, everybody. It's fantastic to watch. It's very graphic, but I couldn't recommend it more. Then, another great show. This was a very good week for TV for the most part. The Studio, I watched episodes 1 to 3, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg's new Apple TV show. It's amazing. amazing. It is fantastic. It's all shot pretty much in like one, sort of, is how it feels. And same with Adolescence, actually. That is a show that deliberately every episode is written and shot like it is a one shot and we're just continually following everyone. I love the frantic pace. I love the production design. I love the look and the feel and the writing. The acting is so good. The celebrity cameos are amazing. Particularly this week, Ron Howard and Anthony Mackie were fantastic in episode 3. Catherine Hahn is so good as this sort of, I don't know, Amy Pascal type, I would say. Seth Rogen is great as this new studio guy stepping in. It is all so funny. I seriously just loved it so much. Couldn't recommend it more. Apple TV is probably the best streamer out there right now, unless it's HBO. Then Daredevil Born Again. I think the episode this week was bad. Art for art's sake, with the Muse storyline continuing. I thought this was a major step down, and the Muse storyline is just really strange. I didn't care. I feel like we've barely got to know Muse, and now turns out he's actually been in the whole season, I guess. Probably the worst episode of the season and a major step down, but I'm hoping next week will be a step up. How many episodes do we even have left? Is it a 10 episode season or is it 12? I can't remember, but I remember both season 1 and season 2, which they're shooting season 2 right now, and we saw his new suit. Looks awesome. I think it was more episodes in season 2, but overall, I mean, Daredevil Born Again has been pretty good so far. Like, not great, but good. I think it's entertaining week to week TV, but it is a little bit frantically edited in a way that's not enjoyable, and some of the writing is weak. And the final TV show before we get into my movies this week, Survivor 48, of course, episode 6, Doing the Damn Thing is the title. Charity voted out, and it was the most obvious boot of the series so far, of this season. She was very clearly on the outs. I don't think anybody was really getting along with her, or she just was not gelling with others. She had a really weird quote in her exit interview being like, "You won't be everyone's cup of tea when you're an espresso martini." Very strange, but I think it was a good vote out. I think she needed to go. Say was very close to going home. Her throwing a vote on Cedric was sort of crazy and just completely out of left field. I don't understand why she did that. I'm looking forward to next episode hearing from her. But again, a really good episode. I think the challenges were good. It was an entertaining episode, and season 48 has just been really good as a whole. I'm loving the new season of Survivor, and all the characters on it are very interesting. And my girl Mary keeps doing good. My girlfriend and I both picked her as our winner pick, and she is not going anywhere. But let's move into my 4 movies of the week, starting with Memento, a first-time watch. Christopher Nolan's Memento from the year 2000, my birth year. I actually ended up buying it on Blu-ray as soon as I watched it because I was like, oh yeah, that was great, and I need to add it to my collection. So, Memento, I watched it. I think what I love most about it is how inventive it feels with its editing method. The fact that we know how the story ends, sort of. In a way, we're telling a story backwards while learning about it forwards and making sense of what happened. Wonderfully acted. I cannot believe that Guy Pearce thinks he's bad in Memento. He's fantastic. The whole cast is really good as well, and I think it's just a really good story. It's well made. The music is really good. Production design is good. Everything is just so good and plain about it. It feels so small and intimate and just like such a closed loop story, which I enjoy. So Memento, 4.5 stars. Then, for the third time, I watched Anora because my girlfriend wanted to watch it, and you will be shocked to know the third time it hit me even harder. I was sniffling like a little baby at the end. There's something just so devastating every time. It's more and more painful to watch. Mikey Madison, after watching it a third time, like, yeah, she deserved the Oscar. If Demi Moore won, she would have deserved it as well. I think it was 2 Oscar-worthy performances, and it's just fascinating how every time I watch it, the movie grows more and more on me, and I there's little things that I pick up. Like this time, the blanket that she brings downstairs for Igor is red, and the initial offer that Vanya gives her to be his wife for his girlfriend for a week, is $10,000, which, oh, coincidentally, how much is the green card marriage payment at the end of the movie? $10,000. So it's very clear that Vanya has done this thing a million times before. And you know, it's funny listening back to my episode where I reviewed it, and I originally gave it 4 stars because I was just like, I think I was just very put off by that was not what I was expecting. But then rewatching it the week after, I was like, no, it's brilliant. And now watching it again, it's brilliant. And I can't wait to get the Criterion version of it. Then I continued my DCEU watch. I'm trying to get through all the DCEU movies before Superman comes out. So I watched Wonder Woman this week from 2017. And I gotta say, it's not, as a story, it's not as good as I remember. I remember thinking, oh, well, Wonder Woman's easily the best DCEU movie. It is most definitely not, because I think the Suicide Squad blows it out of the water, the James Gunn Suicide Squad movie. But it's wild how it's not even been 10 years since that movie came out, and the CGI is absolutely abysmal to watch. Like, it is just gray haze. The characters are all cheese-looking plastic stuff. And I'm also surprised, I will give some credit. Gal Gadot, this is probably her best performance she's ever turned in her career. I was horrified because she's not terrible in it. She actually has some moments where I was like, whoa, that was approaching sincerity and good acting. And the action's pretty good. Like the No Man's Land sequence, of course, is very good. But those last 30 minutes... boy, oh boy, those last 30 minutes are bad. It's sort of unwatchable, and it's just hazy CGI, smoky garbage. The villains are nonsense. I gave it 3 stars. It's not the worst thing. It's not the best thing. I'm going to keep a DCEU ranking on my Letterboxd. If you want to follow along with me as I'm going through the movies, you can see where they're all ranking up. But Wonder Woman so far is in first, I believe. Then finally, the only other new release of movies that I watched this week, I watched the Nicole Kidman, Matthew McFadden, Amazon Prime movie, Holland. It's sort of a sci-fi thriller type thing, mind-bending movie from the person that did that movie Fresh with Sebastian Stan and Daisy Edgar Jones a couple years ago. It was really bad. I was so just flat out bored. I hate to say it is bland. It's not anything new, nothing interesting. Nicole Kidman, she's okay in it, but everything else is just like regurgitated, recycled things that we've seen before. So I was a little bummed. So it was a more TV focused week, I will say, because I was so entrenched in Adolescence, which I watched all in one night. I started it at like midnight, finished it by 3 a.m. I was so obsessed. Then the next day, I started The Pitt, binge watched it over 2 days, loved it. Oh, I didn't write down The White Lotus. Oh my God. Yeah, White Lotus episode 7. A really good setup for the finale, and the finale comes out this Sunday, 90 minutes long. Monday, I'll put a review out for it. The Rick storyline sort of, it was good. He didn't kill him. I enjoyed that. It was a good episode. Not the best episode of the season, but it was still very entertaining to me, and I'm looking forward to the finale. But I'm seeing a few movies next week. I mean, the Pitt finale is also next week. White Lotus finale is next week. There's a lot of good stuff still to come out, and I have a few movies that I'm planning to watch back that I'm looking forward to, but that's been what else I watched. And you know what? I think that's going to do it for episode 64, a Minecraft movie. Not one for the record books. I'll say that. This movie is going to make a crazy amount of money. But as always, please rate and review the show 5 stars on all of your streaming platforms, wherever you get your great podcasts like Watcher of All Things, whether it is Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Acast. We are, of course, an Acast-produced show. If you're on the YouTube channel, please leave a like, subscribe, comment. You can go check out my MCU franchises ranked video, which came out last week. You can also email the show to get in touch with us, watcherofallthings@gmail.com, or find me on social media, Instagram and Threads at watcherofallthings. The TikTok account is at watcher.of.all.things. I post all of my reviews, everything like that. Tons of everyday videos on all of the social media platforms. Go enjoy those. Everything linked below, as well as my Letterboxd, my personal Letterboxd account, KikiJ70. That's KIKIJ70. Follow me on there. Leave a comment under one of my reviews that you found me through the show, and I will follow you back. Let's start a little community next week. It's a good one. I'm actually very much looking forward to next week. It is Warfare, Alex Garland's newest film. If you listen to the show, you know how much I liked Civil War last year, and I'm very much looking forward to this, so that will be next week's show. But as for now, thank you all so much for listening to this rage-filled review of a Minecraft movie. I went for a run this morning. I feel my lungs collapsing underneath me. I need Dr. Robbie to help me, but have a great week, and I will see you in the next one.